When I hear or read the word God, I think about how patriarchal European colonialism brought their own conception of the European God to the indigenous world through European colonialism, through violence, through cultural genocide, through torture, through brutality. I think of the horrendous things my ancestors had to go through when they were fighting against European colonialism, and how Christianity was embedded in that system of oppression and is still embedded and privileged inside of this concept, this presence of European oppression around the world. I think about how the word God is a particular term. It is not a universal term. It came out of a particular cultural incubator that was not to be seen on North America, South America, Africa, Asia. Well, only a small part of Asia, actually. So when I think about the term God, I wonder how it got here. And I think about how it got here. And I think about the path that it took to scourge and to destroy and to undercut all the viable organic emanations of deity, of spirit, of divinity that already existed in all the indigenous cultures around the world. So an idea of spiritual biodiversity came up, just like we can't live in a concept of capitalist monoculture, where we have only one or two things growing in a certain place. The safety of the earth and humanity upon it is dependent upon a spiritual biodiversity, because that's the way the earth had been in balance, and we in balance with the earth over thousands and thousands and thousands of years. That was the way, and I think it needs to be the way now. And I think we have to resist the hegemony of a patriarchal God that's come through European colonialism. We've seen the greatest amount of cultural destruction, cultural genocide, of oppression, exploitation, of commodification of the earth, waters, all the Earth's natural resources. We've seen the greatest destruction of environmental ecosystems under that presidents of patriarchal God and of the European colonialism that uses it against indigenous and other peoples all around the globe. So under that umbrella of GOD, we see this destruction in the last 100, 200, 250, 400, 500, 1,000 years if we look back to Europe and what Roman Catholicism was doing to the indigenous peoples of Europe and to the women of Europe. So I say this to say we really seriously have to look at the hegemony of Christian conceptions and how it's connected to European colonialism, and how we need to revitalize inside our bodies, inside our spirits, inside our beings, inside the earth again, our connections to indigenous reality, our connections to organic and embedded spirituality and divinity and deity in the ways that our ancestors saw. They were living in balance to the greatest degree that we've ever known. And we need to go back to that if we really want to stay here and increase our tenancy here on this sacred earth. So we have to talk about this concept of spiritual biodiversity, and we have to protect it as we fight all of the systems of oppression in this world. We cannot lose this point. Or all of this, again, as I've said before, all of this in our children's futures is lost. What do you think? Let's talk.